Oh, yeah, here we go. It is Sunday of the 29th of March, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always. And we're in it to win it. We got my water. Oh, yes. And we got my files. We're going to be writing a book with me. That's right, from concept to conception, as we do every weekend. So I don't know if you're excited, but I'm excited, and we're going to get into it. We also got a poll today. We're going to talk about that in a second as we give people a minute or two to get in here. But if you didn't know, I am a developmental editor and a writing teacher. So, as the scroll says, if you have any questions about your own writing or what I am doing during this process, feel free to say, hey. But before we get into it, let me say hello to everyone. Hey, what's up, flowers? Greetings from a different time zone. Cindy, hola, ¿cómo están? I can't type what I want to. Help. Even. What? What has happened to me? Ah, there I can. Ah, there it is. Ah, get this AI away from me. Some sort of predictive. That's what it is. You got to be careful because the AI takes over everybody. Be careful. All right. But more importantly, I could have used two choices, having a discipline for daily output. Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely drunk. It's rubbish. Yeah, if you didn't know, we have a poll today. We're going to talk about it at the end of the hour, but what author skill do you wish you were better at? Well, we have four choices. We have stronger poetic lyrical prose, we have ease with complex plotting, and then we have having discipline for daily output. That could be for word count or just anything, just creative energy. And of course, an effortless social presence. Feel free to vote on that, and we will talk about that. All right. Hey, mi bene. Hope I spelled that right. Hey, mi bene. Signed the loan for a camper. Oh, that's fantastic. My sister and I will be camping off this year. Let's give you a nice round of applause. Fantastic. I'll go out and return it. And then start a new book, though still working on my current, so it's time to. All right, let's get into this. All right, to everybody who hasn't been here before, let me do the spiel. I am writing a book from concept to completion using my writing process. I'm not saying this is the only writing process or the correct one. I'm saying this is my process. If going through it helps you develop your own process, or you say, hey, I kind of like what he did there, then awesome. But this is just the behind the scenes, pull the curtain out experiment of showing me writing a book from scratch. Now, if you can see, we have 9 steps we've already done. Of the 21 steps, we are currently on my first drafts, which is basically prose, dialogue, and immersion. Not a lot of immersion. I'm just trying to get through everything. You know, it's all part of the process. Ciao, Tommaso. Salve, mia amica. Howdy. Hey, what's up, SB? Am I speaking better? I think I am. Whoo! That was awful. You are speaking amazing, Flowers. Fantastic dialect. Good syntax. All right. So, again, if you've never been here before, basically you're going to watch me write in real time on the screen. None of this just seeing me off to the side and just hearing a clickety clack clack cluck. You're going to hear and see everything. Toto bene? Toto bene. I like it. But ultimately, I've been doing this for quite some time as far as my process. It has been honed, of course, and it is what it is. If you have questions about what I'm doing, feel free to ask as you need to. All right, other than that, let's get to it. Boo! We have officially moved on to, I know it looks like chapter 2, but let's do a quick recap. I ended up taking chapter 1 and splitting it up into 3 chapters. So technically we're on chapter 4 now, but I'm not changing the chapter names of this first draft. I'm going to wait until we get to the second draft. But ultimately, I'm thinking I might actually have to turn chapter 2 into 2 chapters. We'll have to see. But going to work, Laura gets hijacked and they escape. Going to work and they get hijacked seems like a chapter, and then they escape might end up being a chapter. But we'll get there. As all day from 1:50 and until recently. Oh, no sirens. No, has sirens all days, but we are good. I'm glad you're good. Thank you for keeping us on the updates. You know we're always rooting for you. All right. Again, everybody out there, what's going on? What's going on? All right. Let's do it. Laura Olivia. So these are, again, for anyone who's never been here before, these are my extended outline notes. Ultimately, what zero drafting looks like. Good water. Hey, I edited approximately 62,000 words. Wow. Boom. Give you one of these. That's awesome. Fantastic work, Flowers. That's really good. Sorry, brain is mush. I would expect nothing less, my friend. You're in a war zone. I wish I could open a portal and be like, "Hey, come hang out. We'll get some pizza." Is plotting as complex as we think, or are we overthinking it? Oh, that's a great question. Again, if anyone's watching, just ask the questions. I don't mind stopping to answer questions. Plotting is as complex as we think. But the thing is, the more you practice anything, for example, speaking on a microphone is complex. You would think, no, it's not. No. Having a comfortability with it, being aware of it, but not necessarily paying attention, like, hey, right? Everything we do in life, if we've never done it, is going to be quite complex. I've used the analogy of, hey, somebody said, is it easier to learn guitar or bass? It is as hard for both. And the reason I say that is because if you've never played them, it's difficult. Now, if you've played guitar or bass first and then you switch to another instrument, as per guitar or bass, it would be easier because you have the fundamentals down. You have an understanding of the scales, of the necks, right? Bass and guitar, even though bass is really, I believe, an instrument that's it's considered a C tone, whereas E is an E tone. Guitar is an E tone, violin is an A tone, right? So plotting is as complex as it could be in the beginning, but if you practice outlining, and I do this often, I practice just ideas and I outline ideas into my format, which is the 27 plot point outline. But I used to do it for the Save the Cat one. I used to do it like that. And wherever I have to go to figure out what are the beats or the emotional beats and movements of a narrative, and you get better at it, like all things, like dancing. You're not good at dancing until you dance. I mean, you could be like, and people like, that's awesome. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing, which is usually the way whenever I'm dancing. Way to go, Flowers. Yeah, I'm very proud of Flowers. All right. So I got it right here, right? Laura Olivia leaned against the door frame, speaking casually with a field. Oh, what is the field? Didn't we give the field agent a name? Didn't we? I think we did. Do, 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 do. We didn't give the sister a name. That's the problem. That's the problem. Felix Zach. All right. All right, real quick. Let's do this. My characters. Oh, Felix Zach, it's right there. Laura Olivia. Olivia. That's right. I keep track of my characters. I lost it there. We don't have a species name for these characters yet, but we got the mom. We got Laura's. We got to name this character Laura's mom, Laura's dad, and sister. We also have to do Laura. Laura's dog creature. All right. Ciao bello, mia amica. Hi, I got done with Act. Oh, one second. Boop, boop. I got done with Act 1 in my story last Sunday, but I need to add a bit more. Now I'm going to try it. Hey, fantastico. Bravo, bravo, bravissimo. Bellissimo. Hey, what's up, Sean? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, yeah. All right, I gotta come up with money type. Okay. Now, a couple things. Again, for anybody who has not seen the series before, I am actually writing outside my norm, which is I traditionally write in the cinematic third person limited rotating framing, which is basically like writing like I'm watching a movie. And then I use a lyrical clarity. I like writing with a lyrical touch. However, this is oh, and that's usually epic fantasy. I'm writing in sci-fi, and I'm writing in first person, and of course, all the things that I have practiced for many a years is now null and void. It's. By the way, there are 9 votes and ease with complex plotting. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Okay. Let's do it. Now, again, I'm not trying to do a deep immersion with this. I'm just trying to get the writing. All right. Mm. Mm. In the back of the ship. You know what? Didn't I say I wanted to change something here? I think I wanted to change something. Son of a. Excuse me. There was something I said I wanted to change, but I don't think. Let's see if I put the note in. I didn't put the note in, but I think if I remember correctly, I think I was going to take away. It is not. The sixth. The sixth will be my birthday. It'll be my birthday. I think what I wanted to do was get rid of the loading. Like it's not another gig per se. I think I just wanted her to be working on the ship and that these people show up. Right? I think that's what I had said. Yeah, so I'm just looking to see if I put that note in there, but I think that's what I said. So I have to change that. Yeah. Hope it's most excellent. Put them in the Iron Maiden. Excellent. Execute them. Bogus. All right. Let's just go through. Leaning on a ship. Oh, Jesus. First person, am I right? Okay. Right. Other day, woman. The mechanics. Mechanics! Denting out my ship as I leaned on it. Hope it's most excellent. And his large shoulders match the depth of his belly. Common. Okay. All right. Again, remember, I'm not really putting a lot of weight or effort into curiosity. I think I'm just like out of curiosity. What would you say fixing the gas gauge would run me? 7, 10. Yeah, I'm not trying to write super fancy right now. I'm not worried about how pretty it is. I'm not worried about a lot of things. I say this often because again, if somebody's jumping in and they haven't seen this series yet and they're like, "What's going on?" Basically, I'm on my first draft. I'm taking zero draft notes, which is all these bullet points, and I'm just kind of putting them into more traditional prose. But it's just helping me kind of get the feel of the characters and the movement of everything. But ultimately, when I get to the second draft, that's when I'm going to go in and start looking at things. Like, for example, warm and filled of morning light. I might describe that more. I might what maybe the animal sounds we hear. Maybe what does the sky look like? You know how does maybe I'll go a little deeper into a serene moment for her. Like let Laura kind of sit in her in the moment a little longer. But right now, I'm not really interested in writing that. I'm not in. I just want to sort of get the chapters out because again, I might end up changing stuff. I might not have this beginning. Just like I said originally, she was supposed to be setting up for another trip, but now I have it continuing the narrative beat of her having crashed her ship and they're just fixing on the ship. So these are things I like to think about what I'm gonna write, what I'm not gonna write. I don't put a lot of weight into making it perfect or pretty or you know even the dialogue. I might just have them be like oh this 15, maybe 20 with what is it called the what's it called labor. Uh, and then it's just simple dialogue back and forth. 20. And then we could have a little play. Well, right. So I'm just playing. That's really what a first draft is. You're just playing. Hey, what's up, Afghani? Right. I thought we were. Hey, what's up, Denny? Hey guys, do you prefer to start with story plot first and then add the themes as it develops, or build? That's a great question for the room. For me personally, I start with an emotional, interesting concept, like an idea of what I want to see. Uh, pre- Presumably the protagonist, what I want to see the protagonist sort of deal with emotionally, and like what is their journey in that emotion? Where do they start and sort of like where do they end? As far as themes, I let that kind of come out as I'm writing. However, I will be honest, I do like healthy relationships. I do not like poor communication tropes. So there are certain themes that I do try to sit with. I like found family, like I said, but I also um I like uh the theme, that idea where basically the underdog. I like the underdog coming up and fighting through opposition. I like the underdog winning because of teamwork. The idea that we're not alone. So those are some things that just naturally kind of slip in. But as I develop the book, by the third draft, I'm already seeing a lot of themes that I didn't know were in there. And if I like those themes, I'll kind of lean into them a little bit more when I'm in the third draft. If I don't like the themes, or I think it's sounding a little bit more, if it's sounding different than what I expected the story to be, I might kind of bring it back or adjust that. But ultimately, the thing that I care more about is what you wrote as story. Because again, remember, narrative is made of both plot and story. Plot is what needs to happen no matter what, and story is how it unfolds through the emotional experiences and choices of your characters. So I like to think of that part. What is the emotional experience and choices a character is going to have to go through for a scenario? And not just like they didn't win the hot dog eating contest, but a scenario like with Devious, because of the prologues, everybody could read the prologue. It's available on the Patreon. It's free. Uh, his story. The first book is technically a story about trauma and working through that. Not that trauma can be fixed and healed, in the course of a book. But it's about someone dealing with trauma and the loss of parents. Oddly enough, that coincides with me working through my own grief, but that wasn't originally the story. Was always the story before I got to it. It's just interesting that I those kind of themes of loss are there, but that book was always about trauma, grief, reconciling with you know not just the loss, but the idea of anger and rage and wanting to do something to make right what you feel was done wrong to you, and then realizing something else. That is the scenario I kind of wanted to play with. As far as the other themes, though, they all came in there slowly but surely. I always wanted the found family element in there, and I wanted new family, and I wanted well, I don't want to give it. There's another thing I purposefully played with, but that's how I do it. But I'd love to hear everyone else. Everyone in the room. It's that's a great question. What do you like to start with first? Do you like start with the plot, or and then figure out your themes, or do you like to come up with a theme and then play with that theme? All right, let's keep it going. I thought we were friends. All right, so here's an example of I'm going to write something in the first draft, and then I know I'm probably going to change it later, which is the dreaded he laughed, or let's go chuckled. He chuckled. Uh, uh, turning back to me. Uh, what we got here? Howdy, what's up, M? It varies. Sometimes it comes to me plot first, sometimes themes first. Yes, 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 yeah. Yeah, whatever happens for anybody out there, I always talk about serving the narrative, whatever comes, lean into it, explore it. Hello. There's nothing wrong with taking an idea and just trying to see where it goes and playing with it, and then coming to the conclusion that, like, maybe I don't like this, maybe I want to change this. And that's part of the writing, like the writing process is trying things. The writing process is making choices, asking questions. It's about going down a corridor only to realize maybe this isn't the corridor I wanted to go down. Let me go back. Or taking what you learned going down the wrong way and then saying, how can I apply that to another option? For writers who are really starting out, who don't necessarily have the confidence to um, commit or have the conviction to some choices, I always recommend coming up with three choices. Whenever a character comes up to a situation where they got to make a choice, think about them agreeing, disagreeing, or not knowing what to do, and see which one where they go each way. And you don't have to go too deep in it. You could just bullet point the idea or just brainstorm on it, and it'll let you kind of learn who these characters are, because you might realize, they've said yes a lot, they've agreed to a lot, and they want a lot, but let's see what happens if they disagree. Let's see what happens if they don't know what to do. And what that helps newer writers, it helps you kind of um, push back on the smoothness of not having conviction or choices. It's going, wait a minute, this might hurt my characters. And that is something that a lot of new writers do deal with, is they have a fear of hurting their characters. And by the way, hurting could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be putting things in their way. And that's the only way you're going to develop as a writer and develop your characters, is by seeing what they can deal with and how far you can push their limits. Now, do you have to stay with what you choose or try? No, you could always change everything. Remember that. Useless dialogue tags are becoming a smaller percentage. That's awesome. Isn't that fantastic when you're in your second, third, or fourth draft and you're doing your editing and you realize, oh, I didn't need all these dialogue tags? I mean, technically I should have some here, but I think because I think this is technically Laura, but if I wanted to, I could be, I said, I could do that, and then that solidifies the thread back and forth. For this, 15, maybe 20 with labor. 20, come on, we'll do, right? But because this is technically chapter 3, even though it says chapter 2, the voice is clear. This is Laura, or our main protagonist. Now, if somebody's reading this chapter for the first time, they may be like, who's this person? Right? But that's the thing. Sometimes when you're writing, you got to remember you have the ability to allow these personalities. But also, Felix is the person that's handling, right? Because it's up here. Felix stood by, not but a few feet, giving orders to his crew. All right. So we know that Felix is in charge of a crew and stuff like that, right? I leaned on it, right? As I leaned on it. So that means his first question is more about the ship, out of curiosity, what would, right? And we already know as readers. So when you're writing, that is the tell. You know what I'm saying? That is what character voice looks like. A character voice isn't just the words they're using, but it's the purpose of what they are saying. And we know that she has crashed the ship a couple times, and there's an issue with the gas gauge. So it would make logical sense that she is the one asking. Now, in YA or even middle school, more likely than not, there would be an identifier there, just because, But for adult reading, there is a connector, the logical connector. Well, we do a lot of work for you. I thought we were friends, Felix. And here's an example of me doing a dialogue tag without doing a dialogue tag. It clarifies that this is definitely back and forth, and Laura is there, right? He chuckled, turning back to me. We are. But as your friend, I'd rather you stop crashing. Crashing. All right. Again, as a first draft, I'm looking at this dialogue, and right off the bat, I know I want to change the dialogue. But what I am accomplishing is the purpose of the dialogue. What I'm accomplishing is the narrative truth of the dialogue, which means later when I come back for the second draft, I can actually play with the subtext a lot more. But here's why I'm not doing it right now. I don't know these characters or the narrative well enough. I'm only on technically chapter 4, right? So by the time I get to the end of the book and I go back for my second chapter, I'm going to have a deeper understanding of these characters, and therefore how they may speak using subtext. And that's an important distinction between why put that kind of time in now versus later, because I know it's going to change anyway. I know things are going to be adjusted. It's just the process of it all. All right. She has money type, but the cost is a lot for her. Anyway. Actually, you know what I should do? If it's supposed to be a lot, let's have her say, what is it, 7, 10 for this? 30. All right. Anyway, he doesn't more of these small transporting gigs, isn't going to hack it. She should think about taking on bigger gigs. Oh, that's important. That is important because it leads into the ending. The field navigator says she should think about taking on bigger gigs. Think about how taking on big can pay off the end of that book. Maybe the love interest knows someday. Oh yeah, that's all. That's all in the that's in the end. Okay. Laura said we moved that note all the way to the ends. Laura says that she doesn't know anyone, nor does her ship have what it takes to handle the payload. But the ship is a classic, and in the right hands, a little glue and tape here and there, this beauty would be a fast ship. Not that she was in the war, but that territories don't really like associating with her planet. Oh, that's important. I got to make sure I get that in there since they started the war, even though they lost it. The war is brought up. Make sure to add a little bit more to that. Build on this and take notes on any historical truths. Okay. All right. So again, we don't want them really standing around right now a lot, and this is what probably 100, 200 words, 130 words. So let's get okay. He said, actually, stepping off. We gotta get her. Let's do that. Let's do that. What we got here? I thought we were friends, Felix. I like no speech identifiers. Well, yeah, because yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it. But also, occasionally, it's all right to put somebody's name in there, but you want it to have emphasis. I thought we were friends, Felix. Come on, but you don't want to always have names. You don't want to be like Felix. What are you doing over there? Come on, Felix. Felix, right? And because then you get Titanic, right? How many times does Jack say? How many times does Jack say Rose in Titanic? He says it 50 times. Oh, Rose says Jack over 80 times. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't even think I rarely say my friends' names. What's up, bro? How's it feel to start the year? All right. I followed him down the ramp. Okay. I can have it done tomorrow. He said, waving to a crew member at the front of the ship. All right, I followed him. Draft towards the front. All right. Again, in a second draft, what I would do is I would take this line right here, and I'd say to myself, what about it could be more interesting? What, you know, even right now, like looking wave to accrue, right? Uh, you know, yeah, whatever, and then maybe have it. I can have it done tomorrow, he said. Wave. All right. So what am I trying to do here? Again, as a first draft, this is a good beat to have there because then I could play with that, right? I could even go back and add this. And that's what's important about seeding is like as you come up with new lines or new ideas, like I want to get them away from the door and then get them to the front of the ship so we can kind of see it. Um, as you're writing, you can go, oh, how do I build on that? So even this line, 3 crew members hammered at the front of the ship. I kind of started that up here. The mechanic is denting out my ship as I leaned on it, right? So we know they're kind of doing it, but for this 30, da-da, right? And then maybe I would have more stuff going on here, right? And as a first draft, you just write, uh, you know, 2 crew, uh, over to the ship. Again, it's just simple and right to the point. I don't have to really think about it. But what I'm doing is I'm making sure the environment is present. But more importantly, when I do get to the second draft, I can now instead of saying 2 members walk to the front of the ship, I can start thinking about what the area looks like. I could start describing the area. I could slow it down a little bit like that. Um, Maybe I have a stronger intro because right now this isn't really where I want it to be. It's just setting the scene. And then for the second draft, this might end up becoming what's going on? This might end up becoming something like whoops. I hate when it does that. So I might do that and then instead, instead of saying the crew moved around the ship, uh, scurried about. What is it called? The bottom of a plane? What is the bottom of the keel? And then you might be like, why keel? Well, because it's a spaceship, but why can't I use boat terms, right? All right. Another member ran over from the far gate and ducked under the keel. Right. So I could do that. I would just slowly build the environment, and in the second draft, now I could play with things a little bit more. And why say red jackets? Well, it gives detail. You know what I'm saying? One of them, one of them, one of them, one of them. But again, this is the first draft. I'm not really interested in, the fixing or anything or the cleaning up again, this is a great note, but at the same time, those aren't things I'm looking for in a first draft. I'm just trying to get through the scene a little bit and just trying to find moments where I could build on. Again, this 2 crew members walked to the front of the ship. That's something I could build on. I could, what are they carrying, right? What are they carrying? What do they look like? Maybe. Um, maybe one of them is for example, one of them is a larger species with four arms, whatever. Okay, and that's just a note for myself, right? And let's say arms and purple skin. The other is a red and yellow species with a long torso and long arms. Okay, because they're aliens, right? Uh, but right now, as a first draft, this is all I need. Two crew members walked to the front of the ship. That's all I need, right? Because I'm just trying to get through the narrative itself. But now that I'm brainstorming, I'm just putting that there for now. But I wouldn't, again, in the second draft, I wouldn't write one of them is a larger species with four arms and purple skin. No, I would show, I would show one of them carrying something with two arms while carrying a toolbox in its third arm, and maybe something else with a fourth arm. Oh, no, no, I wasn't. No, go ghoul hunger. No, no, no. I was just talking to the audience in general. I wasn't a long-winded debate or pushback on what you were saying. I like using the back and forth with the audience to create like a lesson or a chance to kind of see the how my brain like looks at certain things or drafts, so I could just educate. I assure you, I was not pushing back on what you were saying. I was just kind of getting at it. But yeah, I get it. Just kind of getting on the boat with you, kind of trying to get into that mindset. Hate self-editing. Need to wait like a month or I will just rewrite. Well, yeah, I mean that's true too. Like the rewriting, yeah, that's the thing. I try to avoid going into edit brain while I'm writing a first draft because I will also go into like super edit mode. But it's good. It's good to look at. It is okay. I am just engaging with the text and you. Sorry for misunderstanding. Yeah, no problem, man. No, I love the engagement. Trust me. I love the suggestions, the ideas. That's what this is. It's just a fun back and forth and stuff like that. But please, never take my lessons or explanations. It's just I like to kind of like leapfrog off of ideas, and it's all about education. It's all about fun. It's all about having a good time. My bedroom set is coming. That's fantastic, Hannah. Let me give you a little something, something for that. Probably tomorrow. I wish I had a bed set. I've still been sleeping on the floor for 6 years. It's good for the back. I heard. So I just lay on the floor, but it'd be nice to have a bed. Anyway, the noise from the crew doing the repairs could cause Laura and Felix to have to talk over the sounds. Would you consider that distraction from the narrative, or would that be immersive? That would be immersive. Um, that would be very immersive. But again, if I went that route, how loud are they? Are they jackhammers? Are they bing bing bing? Just hammers or whatever like that. Um, but it adds texture, right? So you could say for this 30 maybe. I think it would kill the intimacy maybe a little bit, but we could do all right, like maybe the loudness. No, I think no, it would change. It would change the casual conversation. The casual conversation, but it could get louder when they get over to the front. There you go. Once they get to the front of the ship, now they are loud. Because they're next to the sound, so that's good, right? Smash got louder. So there you go. Boop, boop. Sorry, I misspoke. I meant to like to write speech without the quotation marks and the said she said. Oh, I meant I like to write speech without the quotation marks. Uh, I think that's a style, but can dialogue be written without quote? That's a choice for sure. Yeah, you can do it. It says it's a stylistic choice common in literary fiction. Cormac McCarthy did it. Sally Rooney. What else? It says here to make the narrative feel more fluid, internal, or seamless. This technique often integrates speech into the paragraph, requiring clear dialogue tags, context, or line breaks to distinguish it from the narrative. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that's a choice. Look, again, to anyone out there, remember writing is about choices. So as an author, you know, if if you wanted to write and be playful with it, where it's like, hey, hey Jim. And then like the next one is, what's up? And then eh, been thinking about you. Right? Like you could do that. Nothing is stopping you from doing that. Where one conversation is on the right, one conversation's on the left, right? You could do that. The other thing is, it's all about experimenting. It's a creative medium. It's a creative art. So like, there's no big deal about it. Smashing got louder. All right. So again, now I'm just writing that as a detail, but that will change. So I will probably be more descriptive with that. Let's see if I'm done there. Okay. It's a few dozen. Only because I forgot. I forget it if the comma or full stop goes before or after the. The comma always goes before. 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 Quotes. However, if you're writing something like they stood in the way of the cans, right, like that. I right is that if I remember correctly, the period would still the period still goes the period always goes inside the quotes. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Because it would be like if you did a comma, right? So they stood in the way of the cans, but nothing made sense. Yeah, it would be like that. You would still the comma would still come, the quote would come after the thing. All right, there's a few dozen big gigs. The smaller ones aren't going to hack it. All right. Said matching his voice, his volume. All right. All right, I just read that. No one doesn't ship have what it takes. All right, so here's an example of like me taking a zero draft beat. This is just me saying Laura says that she doesn't know anyone, nor does her ship have what it takes to handle the payload. So then I just take that and I try to put it into more conversational, you know. Looking. I said I don't know anyone looking. Looking for small transports for big accounts. I slapped the side of my ship. Can't handle the payload. So you don't always have to be direct, you know. Can I ask, what are you people using this blank for? Blah, blah, blah. I see a lot of that in Texas. Didn't think of looking it up so far. And you have it there, looking. Are you talking about the, the M dash? So the M dash is a couple things. I'm using here as as an interruption. So besides, I don't know anyone looking. What? Looking. I said I don't know anyone. Right. So M dash is at the end of a dialogue or even action, by the way. So the smashing got louder as we closed in on it. Right. I could do that. I could do that. You know, watch yourself. And in that situation, it stops the narrative movement of behavior and it jumps right to, right? I'm not going to use that though. The other thing it do is the smashing got louder as we closed in on it. It's sort of an aside. So an M dash could be an aside, or you could add a qualifier to it, right? So whatever the case is. It's also used in screenplays, so in dialogue. You could use it as a change of thought. So a change of thought would be, you know, you could use it like that. So, yeah, the comma before always feels off to me. Seems a bit skewed on the page. I mean, again, it's all relative to what you want to do artistically and creatively. So you know, there is there a right and wrong? Yes and no. There are rules, but at the end of the day, that's like telling a painter to be like, you used red over the wrong color, and it's like, I wanted to use red there. You know, yes, you don't have it even on a keyboard, kind of like German have umlauts on. So, yeah, it's what is it? It's 0151. So you hit alternate on a keyboard, and then you do a 0151, and it makes the M dash. Is it incorrect grammar to use an ellipses to show interruption? Yes, and the reason is because an ellipsis reads like this. So if I wrote, or using this example right here, this is how it would read. You ready? Uh, the other day I saw your mother at the deli. Oh man, remind me to tell you about Jack, that one cashier you have a crush on. Where was I? Oh yeah, your mother at the deli. So ellipsis is just like a fade off, or more of a pause, a thinking pause, or a lull. And M dashes are hard switches, hard interruptions. Uh, you could have it, an ellipsis could be like, hey, I was wondering if you could that would be an ellipsis. You could talk to your mom for me. That's an ellipsis, right? If it was a cutoff, it'd be like I was wondering if you could talk to your, hey, why are you talking about my mother? That would be an M dash. So it's not that it's incorrect grammar, it's just the information, the cue, the internal cue or the dialogue cue, uh, is that M dashes are a change of thought, an interruption, an aside, a qualifier, right? Whereas the ellipses is more of a dot 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 for a reason. It's or a wonder or a wait, or correcting oneself. Probably a symptom of Hemingway. That's fair. Wrote his best work after a skinful of the fire. Well, didn't he also write? You are welcome, good sir. Didn't he write? Didn't he write? Didn't he write in like a house, like a small house? Where did Heming? And he wrote all. He wrote for like 6 hours a day, whatever. Right, his books. Yeah, it was like a. Was it Hemingway or who was the other guy? Did Hemingway? I don't know. Maybe it's not Hemingway. I have to look into that. Control alternate M dash as my M dash doesn't come out unless I do that. What is that one? Control alternate. Oop, I don't know what just happened there. That just shrunk the thing. Control alternate. Oh yeah, because there's a. I guess you could. Son of a. You know what? Maybe function. No. Oh, that's an underline. Underline. I don't know. It doesn't work for me like that. My M dash is on the. Oh, you lucky, lucky girl. I have this. Oh. Oh, wait. You can double. You can double. No, that's. You got to do control double, and it makes the M dash. Or you do it. Oh, you do control and one. No. No. Interesting. Interesting. On a Mac, M dash is shift option. Hyphen. Damn M dashes. Damn Macs. Son of a Mac. Oh, what time is it? We've been doing this for a while. All right. Let's just get to the end of this little thing. Laura says that she doesn't know anyone to do it. Can't handle the payload. He made Eagle. All right. Oh. But it just comes out as a dash, so I have to do the function. Interesting. Flowers, try holding shift and hitting the dash twice. Boop, boop, and then you'll probably have to do it back, but that creates the same thing. Yeah. Anyway. I'm back for the singing. When would you use the N dash? Oh, the little one? This one? So the N dash, look at that, you'd get me on this one. N dashes are connectors. So it's like, what what is it? What is it? Red lightning. It would connect like something like a tall standing frame or a lectern. And a blue red coat paint. I don't know. Right? Yeah, that should be the blue red. My spell check doesn't work over here. That's the thing. Lectern is spelled wrong. Lectern. Lectern. Yeah, so tall standing would be, or the dark haired girl. Yeah, it would connect things like that. Do you sing in the shower all the time? All the time. And usually, if not always, it's one variation of Phantom, or Jekyll and Hyde. Where I go, I go, sing once again with me, a strange duet. My power over you grows stronger yet. And though you turn from me to glance behind. Right, do that. It worked. Fantastic. All right, there we go. Let's see how many words we got done today. I'm going to say, wait, before I hit the button, let's see. This is, I'm going to say 350, 400, 350, 400. Let's see. Whoa! 397. I was close. We might actually be able to get to the, I think I'll be able to do the first 2 scenes in one chapter. Neither here nor there. Boop. Can't believe an hour passed. We did good today. Meow. What was it? 397? There you go. Oh, wait. Almost messed that up. Excellent. Boop. Hey. Sometimes you'll hear a bang on the wall and says, "Could you stop that?" Well, we were talking. I got about 800 words done. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about. Very proud of you, my friend. Managed to reduce my screen res too, so that was clever. Oh, oh, hitting all the buttons and the alts and stuff. Alternate. All right, there we go. All right, I think we did good today. We did 400 words. It's not bad. I think if I did less talking, I probably could have got 800, but whatever. Maybe next year. All right. Ooh, I added in some edit notes for chapter 21. I love edit notes. You're going to get an applause for that, too. That's a fantastic. As Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, that's fantastic. Very fantastic. Bloop. Oh, you got to bloop the bloop. My friend, you can have as many questions as you'd like. One more question. If you done F up and you know it and dread touching it, do you sometimes just delete the whole thing and start over or rewrite later after you had some ideas? Are you talking about line work or are you talking about like I'm 6 chapters in and I realize, everything I wrote is not working? Like all 6 chapters. If it's all 6 chapters, I don't know if I would start over completely. I think I would go through those chapters and figure out what was working and what wasn't working. But a lot of what that is, I don't deal with only because I outline. Not that I heavy outline, I loosely outline. And that gives me a lot of room to sort of play with the characters. But as far as the plot goes, I usually don't feel like the plot. I'll never get to like a zero or first draft and think the plot's not working because I already did the plot work before I got to writing anything that in depth. But as far as if the characters aren't working, what I do is I just keep writing. So for like Death of a King, for anyone who's reading that currently, I'm sure you've noticed the 0 drafts, the first drafts, and the third drafts are different. And the third drafts, I go deeper into character truth and emotion. That's because by the time I go through a full writing session, for example, not writing session, the zero draft from prologue to epilogue, I'm learning the characters. Then I go in and I start the prose for the first draft, and I go from the prologue to the epilogue. And now I'm relearning the characters. So then when I go back to the second draft, I'm touching things up and cleaning it up. Maybe adding a little bit more intro, outros, maybe adding a little bit more environment, maybe adding a little bit more presence. But then by the time I get to the third draft, that's when I'm going in and I'm making sure everything's hitting. So I just constantly am building on it. I don't like to just throw everything out. There's always something there, but it's because I do the plot work before I write, and I think that helps. So I don't necessarily toss things out. You got to bloop the beard and bloop the like button. Oh, for dark-haired girl, I'd use a hyphen. Yeah. Well, that's an, but the hyphen is an M dash. N dash is a hyphen, isn't it? No, an N dash is not a hyphen. Interesting. Well, they are both horizontal lines. They differ in length and purpose. An N dash is slightly wider. Oh, and is primarily used for ranges. Oh, N dashes are used for range, like 642 to 738. So that's what it's used for. We went from 2010 to 2020 N dash. That makes okay. You got me good. Blooped. Yeah, bloop. You got to bloop that beard and bloop the like button. There you go. Where are we going? What we got? If it's just a bit, I would let it marinate. Oh, I like a marinate. Yeah, you gotta let some things marinate. The ideas, the concepts, and go back with fresh eyeballs. Well, hopefully you didn't take them from anybody. Hey, Ghoul. I keep what I have written, but I start over again, sometimes going back to my original and pulling stuff from it. I usually rewrite, but it's only a scene, not a huge amount. Yeah, I'll also add or subtract or move things around, but I don't necessarily just delete everything completely. But that doesn't mean I don't take scenes out, but I won't throw everything out. I'll never do that. 100 word from you is worth 800, so it's okay. Stop. Appreciate that, Em. Very nice of you. Sometimes I go on and leave it, think about what's bothering me about the mess, then come back and begin again using two windows and pulling from the old to the new. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people who do that too. That's a useful technique. Well, about a chapter not working or not going where you want to, I struggle with macro. I get stuck and can't continue. Seems like my problem is not plotting. 6-7. 6-7. You know, Ghoul, my best advice to you would be to just write. I know it sounds crazy, but if you sit on things and you worry about it, what you need is the future. You need more data. You need to see the story, the plot, the characters, the world, your writing process, like what your writing looks like, the way you're handling the prose. You need to see that unfold over the course of the book. And then you get to go back and you could read everything and take notes. But you're going to understand it more if you allow yourself to get to the end than you will if you fixate on a chapter or a scene or a moment. And the reason I say that is because at the end of the day, there's just not enough data to know what is or isn't working. Yeah, you could look at a chat and be like, I'm not enjoying this, or I don't like it, or maybe chapter 77, the characters, but not chapter 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, see where it goes from there. And honestly, if you look at a zero draft of mine for the Death of a King, and then you look at the third draft, the dialogue is different. The characters are moving differently. There's a lot of cleanup and adjustment. It's all part of a process. Laughing at the 6-7. Tom is always trying to simplify the process by slowing things down. You need to slow things down. It's just the way it works. Hey, Lenny, stupid question. How does some in Britain say 12:45? They say it with an accent, I think. Oh, slowing things down. 20, 24 to 5. Ooh, 24 to 5. Oh, yeah, because 4 to 5. 4 to 5. Don't you also say half pass? Don't you say, or a quarter to 1, right? Quarter to 1, half to 1 or something like that? Ah, I use hyphens for numbers too. Learned something there. Yeah. Yeah. My brain was like, what? Thank you. I had a friend who used to as half 12, but wasn't sure. Ghoul said thing. Sounds good. Thank you. You are welcome. Yes, half 12 too. Half past 12, 12:30. Cheers, Ghoul and Lenny and Thomas for looking it up. Guess I couldn't do that. I could have done that. Getting lazy in my retirement. Well, that's why we come here. So you don't have to think. We can just look it up. I say quarter to 1. I say quarter to 1. All right. Let's see. In my job, I wrote 24-hour clock. So sometimes I'm getting Gail to do that. Yeah. 20. That's how I actually keep time in the Death of the King. Everything. Well, it's 28 hours. I have 28-hour days because longer days. But I do the everybody's once it hits 14, then it's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. My kids don't answer. I just read that they're changing the clocks from the analogs to like digital, and then I asked one of my buddies who's a teacher in the middle grades, whatever, and he's like, yes, they are doing that, and that is funny. All right, we got to get to the poll. So I'm going to leave this here. We're going to talk about it real quick. We have 17 votes. That's pretty good. What author skill do you wish you were better at? We have stronger poetic lyrical prose. We have ease with complex plotting. And then we have having discipline for daily output. And of course, an effortless social presence. Well, that's cooking. I'm going to go over a couple quick things as I have to, as per everybody who yells in my ear about it. And we will do it with the robot voice. No, just kidding. All right, remember to please subscribe and like and share and tell your friends about the channel, because the more viewage we can get and the more time spent, the more I can do this channel, because ultimately I get AdSense, and that helps. That really does help. If you didn't know, I do have books available. Make a right left here.com. That's right. If you're interested in learning how narrative works and also outlining, but they are two subjects within the same book. The first half is all about narrative, explanation, explaining narrative, movements, beats, etc. The second half is more about the outlining and showing you in real time. Death of a King is exclusively on Patreon. That's right, the Scribe tier. Feel free to jump on that and see what's going on. You'll learn everything you can about the process, because I go into it in detail. Not only do I show you the chapters from 0, 1st, and 3rd, but I show you the outline stuff, and I talk about it and give classes. This book is currently available. If you're looking about how to be successful in the entertainment industry, including the writing world, this book is there. Now, it is a 5-book series, and book 2 is on its way. If you didn't know, The Noir will be up this Friday under the Scribe tier, so feel free if you want to check out the Patreon. However, I'm going to let the first couple chapters be free on Patreon. That's right. I'm going to allow the first couple chapters to be free on Patreon, and then it will go into the paywall of the Scribe. Other than that, all right, what we got here? Oh, the that's funny. That it does. That it does. I did a little silly one today. I did a little silly short today. All right, where are we going? All right, let's talk about stronger poet. There is no right or wrong answer, but it looks like we have a tie for last place with stronger poetic lyrical prose and an effortless social presence. And then in second place, we have having discipline for daily output, and of course, we are number 1, ease with complex plotting. Nice. Feel free to give me your input on that. Why would you prefer ease with complex plotting? I think it's fairly easy. No. Now, would you say complex plotting as in you, the author, being able to fill up a plot with depth, or are you saying complex like a whodunit? Would you rather to have the pristine ability to understand the plot in detail, or are you more interested in making the plot complex? That's the question. More complex, or that you would just like to understand the plotting easier? Yeah. This water tastes different. All right. All right. Sorry about wearing the beard today. All right. Does anyone have any questions? I love questions. Let's throw it to the audience. We have where's my questions? Oh, if you didn't know, make a right left here.com. Okay. Answering there it is. Let's bring this up. Celebrate and elevate. Let's get rid of that. All right. For me, it's just trying to put it together correctly. You know, I like that you use the word together, but correctly, the thing that is correct is that there just needs to be a cause and effect, that things need to look, even if Thomas sponsored by that's funny. My chair keeps dropping. Listen, sponsored by not water. What are you talking about? This water's delicious. All right. Where was I? Oh, the correctly thing. Look, whether you use the 27 plot point outline or you use the save the cat or you don't plot at all, narratives have to have a natural I hate to use the words ebb and flow, but ebb and flow. They have to have like a starting point so the reader knows what's going on. And that starting point can be chaotic, by the way. It could be insane. There could be a lot of stuff going on. Not great water. It could, you could have chaos in the beginning, right? But it still has to have enough information to set things up, at least vaguely enough so the reader knows what's going on, even if they don't know why it's happening, right? Now, once that happens, you need to challenge, even if the chaos is already there, you need to challenge that chaos. You need to challenge readers, right? The characters. But then you need to resolve it, right? And this is the continuous beat throughout the book. So the beginning should feel like a setup, a conflict to that setup, and then a resolution to that conflict. And that means the next beat needs to slow down, even when the stakes are raised. All right. Even when the tension is raised, that fourth beat in your narrative, wherever it comes, needs to then reestablish context and setup. Doesn't matter if the stakes are raised or not, but you need to slow things down enough, even if it's at a high pace. And slow it down means the reader needs to recalibrate, but so do the characters. If the characters are running at 1,000 miles per hour for 400 pages, you lose the reader. But also the character becomes unbelievable. Like, they aren't stopping, they aren't thinking, they aren't having an emotional reaction to anything. They're not recalibrating their plan. Plan shouldn't be easy. They should still succeed, but there has to be a sense of they can survive, they can do it, but will they? Right? There has to be that sense. We know the heroes, we know Superman's going to win, but how can they? Will they? We know Batman's going to win. We know that James Bond is going to win, right? So at the end of the day, it isn't so much correctness. It isn't about a correct, putting it together correctly. It's just understanding that you have to explain things enough for people to understand it. You have to challenge it and resolve it, and then start it over. allow characters to have a moment. Allow characters to be like, all right, where are we? What's going on? And then do it again. Do it again, right? Doesn't matter if it's romance, if it's thrillers. It's all part of the game. If I picked complex plotting, I'd be keeping all the balls in the air and adding the next one at the correct time. I'm really good at juggling if I don't have to juggle anything. That's true. That's true. That is true. I am an expert juggler. I learned from the AI. Right. Not everyone has booped the like button. People, get it together. I'm doing it in I am doing that in her British accent, but I can't do the British accent without sounding like I'm doing a bad British accent. So just assume that's what's happening. All right. I'm laughing right now because I just found the note cards with my stories, worlds on them with full details. That's fantastic. I laugh when I find extra stuff to have to work on too. I'm like, more stuff. I even booped on the TV too, even though one is only able to boop once. Flowers, you know we love you. Good booping flowers. Flowers, you did good booping. Yes, you did. I'm a whack job. Yes, I am. Okay. Hey, everybody. Is that it? No questions? We don't have any questions? We got a double boop from me. The Thomas AI. Listen, it's not Thomas AI. It is robot. I am a robot. I have feelings. I am experiencing feelings. I need robot legs. I think I created a monster with that. I'll be honest about that. We're gonna be dealing with the alien, the robot phase a lot. Okay, it's better than dealing with Manowar. Okay. Sorry about that. This show is not for children. I'm going to rewrite them down. You should rewrite it all down. Arg. Argity dark. Anyway, what else? Is there anything else? I think that's it. Wow, what did I just walk in on? You walked in on the Manowar, Laura. Laura. We got the Laura in the house. We got the Laura in the house. We got the Laura in the house. I guess that's about it. Is that it? I think that's about it. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm still selling books, and I'm grateful for that. Every time I open up the KDP, I see a couple more sales, and I don't know if you're all sharing the book or telling people to buy it, but even if you're not, I'm gonna thank you anyway, just in case you are. It's really nice to see because when you wake up and you're like, oh, do I got to get a job? And then you open it, and you go, oh, good. I could get pizza this week. Anyway, that's about it. Is that it? Done? Did we get it done? Did we do it? You know who? We didn't see Rich today. I feel bad. I wanted to get the gong on. All right, everybody. Oh, let's talk about the schedule. You'll soon be retired to the. I wish. I don't think I'm allowed to retire to the Bahamas because I think you have to be born there to live there, right? I forget. All right, let's look at the schedule. And then maybe we'll call it a day. Didn't see oh no, Afghani was here a little earlier. I don't know if he's still listening. He sometimes gets a little quiet and then we miss him. I'm always like, where's the Afghani? And he's like, leave me alone. I'm working on my book covers. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Next week on Wednesday, I will be we will have plot point 14 will be published, and it'll be April 1st. On Thursday, actually, not Thursday, probably Monday. Monday, I'm releasing another members only video. However, if you are on Patreon and you are on the Scribe or I think Chapter 2 tier, you will also get the video. But if you are a member on YouTube, you will get to see why novels fail. Basically, some writing advice. There's a video that'll come up on Monday. See you next time, Angel Faith. Thanks for joining us. I'll have to go back and rewind to hear what you responded to my previous comment. I was in the car. However, you being my writing teacher, I tend to think you do it correctly. That's fair. I'll accept that. Friday, I will be going over a prose. That's right. I'll be analyzing prose. We will be doing Project Hail Mary by Andy Ware. That's right. We're going to be doing that. No April. I actually despise April Fool's Day. I don't like playing tricks on people. It's not nice. This Saturday will be a writing sprint, so feel free to join to get into it. And of course, Sunday will be Sunday. Other than that, so again, plot point 14 will be Wednesday. Why Novels Fail will be a special video that is uploaded for members. The membership on YouTube, or if you're a part of the Patreon, if you're part of the Scribe, or Chapter 2, because it's at the low tier, you will see that video. So that will be there. Hey, Thomas, I'm at the market. Is there anything I can get you for our meeting? No, I'm good. I'm good. Maybe a hamburger or something. I ran out of buns. That's it. All right, there you go. Oh, and like I said, Friday will be a pre-recorded prose analysis on the opening page of Project Hail Mary. All right. I guess that's it. I guess we're done. We did 90 minutes. So, I feel good about that. I feel good. All right, everybody. I'm out. Okay. Much love. As always, I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. As always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next week. This was a blast. And let me know what you think of the Noir. It's coming out. The first couple of chapters are free for everybody, so feel free to enjoy that. All right, bye, everyone. Shabala!